Hello, students. So here's another follow-up tutorial. This is what I went over students with that were here last week. So I thought I'd just go ahead and upload this. So obviously when we're working here in Pixlr, you can open a pre-existing image like a photo, or you can create a new one like a painting, right? So if I click open image, I should have an image already saved of my son to the Chromebook itself. You can always save something to your Google Drive and open it through that as well, and then download it. Okay, click open. So if you're wanting to play more with a digital manipulation, there are tutorials out there that I can post links about to help you do this. So different types of things like the blur tool, the sharpen tool, liquify, where as you can see here, you can actually stretch the image by clicking or putting your digital tablet pen down on the pad. So you're selecting and you're pulling parts of the image out to kind of distort it, right? So in this case, so let's say I want to do a digital painting of this, but I don't have a lot of time to sit here and map out the figure. So if I can at least get the proportions down on a layer, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to click layer. Might be lagging here a little bit, but then you can always select new layer. You can make as many layers as you need to. So it says layer 2. That is the layer that I'm going to use to go ahead and go on top of the page here. I'm going to pull my navigator over as much as it'll allow me to go ahead, and I'm just going to worry about the head right now, okay? Just for the sake of the tutorial. And basically a layer is see-through. Say I want to do a red color. You can select pen, or you can select marker, or I mean pen, I'm sorry, or paintbrush, draw. In this case, I'm going to click draw. Should have a window pop up. Here we go. So you can keep it in any kind of variant you want, like a brush, sketchy, crayon, ink. I'm going to go ahead and we'll just keep it in sketchy. Size is pretty small. That's good. I want 100% opacity for this layer so that I can actually see it, because I might actually end up making this layer invisible at the end of the day. All right. Oop. Let's switch these around. Switch colors. I want the red one. The red one is what I want to use so I can actually see it. And then what I can do is I can take this. Oh my. And obviously, if you don't like every function, you can get rid of that. Make this amount a little bit smaller. If I didn't like what happened there, I can take the eraser. I can erase some of that, right? Go back to my drawing tool. Then I could basically, I don't like that. I can always click undo. I guess it changed the brush, didn't it? We could leave it on this brush. So I'm going to make this a lot smaller. Let's leave it at 6. You can play with the angle. So if I want to create more of a calligraphy kind of thing, I could eliminate the step. That'll make little like spaced out dots. I don't want a broken line. So now we should be, it's just a really big brush apparently. Might have to turn it down to 1. Okay. It will take some time to kind of practice working. Developing that hand-eye coordination. See, obviously like that. If I really wanted to, I could erase that. For the sake of it, just a demo, I'm not going to do that. You can also use Sumo Paint. It's pretty much just the paint feature, but for the sake of it, go ahead and now your tablet might lag a little bit, and this is because we are using an app. That is an online app. Now, if this is just a layer to kind of help me with proportion, then I'm not really too worried about it. You can always fix things as you go. Click the drag, you can move around the image. For the sake of it, I'm just going to stop. Try to finish the head. Oop. Really don't like that, so I'm just going to myself another one. Now, what I can do, I can basically, I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to put that layer in between. I don't want it on top because I want my drawing layer on top. So I need to select that and move it. Now in layer 3, I might try a different color. You can choose any color you want. I'm working from a black and white photograph here, so I'm just going to select blue. I'm going to go ahead and I have that layer selected. Now I can, with my very horrible drawing here, obviously you can go back and you can refine this kind of stuff. I'm going to have to work back and forth in between these different layers so I can see them. Now, let's say I wanted to make a more naturalistic skin tone. Of course, you can always select from a real photograph that has those tones. Let's say 15. We're going to make this a lot softer. I would definitely turn down the opacity. That's the like thickness of it to where it's more transparent. Then this way you can build up these nice layers to make it look more like you're glazing, as they call it in painting. So then I can start. I might zoom in a little bit just for the sake of it. You can also, maybe to be safe, what I should do is this. I'm going to select a new layer. Make sure that's the layer that's on top. One on top of. Okay. Yeah, so now you can see how I can develop a skin tone. And any of my outline I don't like, again, it's there just so I can have a reference to it. So I could build up very small. I could also make the brush larger if I wanted. This might actually be too big. So again, you're going to have to kind of play. It depends on the size of your actual image. Let's do more like this. I can fill in big layers. of color. This would be more like a base coat of skin tone. Now I am going over the outline a little bit, but then again, remember the outline is on another layer. So I just need it to kind of help me with that. Let's say I want to get a little bit brighter. And here you can compare what you're doing. Let's say it's a little bit brighter. I'm going to make the size a little bit smaller. Now I can build up those highlights, right? And that kind of makes sense how you can do a painting. And then I can, with my last layer, if I really wanted something a little bit more like nearly white, like let's say a little highlight, I could, like there's a highlight on the nose, I can make that more opaque, and I can build up. Obviously, this is a little cartoonish, but I think just for the sake of it, you can see how a painting can start developing. It's all about layering. And if you want, and some people like to do one color for one layer, and they'd make a new layer over here, and then a different layer for the highlights, and so on and so forth. That is your prerogative. I do think that's better, so then if you mess up, you can always remove what you don't need. So in the end of the day, we won't end up seeing the background. We'll end up seeing this tone underneath it. So this does make it colder. It will optically mix into that. So maybe had I chosen something that matched the background, the skin tone a little bit more, that might have been better. See how it's turning it purple because the blue is reading through to the red and turning it purple. And then, of course, like once I get things really detailed and really refined, I could even get rid of that layer that doesn't matter. And then I just have the painting itself, the skin tones that I want, and let the paint kind of do the talking. So hopefully this little tutorial makes sense. It would work essentially the same way in the Sumo paint. So thank you for watching. Hopefully this was very helpful.